Hello and welcome to Newsmax TV. I'm John Bachman. I'm joined now by Tom Price, representative from Georgia, also a doctor.
John.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much. Great to be with you today.
Well, the big news today is that President Obama seems to be offering some sort of alternative or some kind of compromise on this birth control mandate. What's your reaction to the news today?
Well, I think it isn't a compromise at all, and if it's a compromise, it's just rhetorical. The fact of the matter is this is an administration who has decided that it wants the power to be able to determine, and it believes that in the law, the President's health care law, that it has the power to be able to determine what is the definition of health care and health coverage for you and your family, me and my family, and every single American. And that's simply wrong. They believe that they have so much power that they can trample on the First Amendment rights and the religious freedom of certain individuals in this country. So this isn't about abortion. This isn't about birth control. This is about who are we as a society going to allow to define what health care and health coverage is.
And as the legislation continues to be rolled out, do you see any other issues similar to this one coming up that might force the President's hand to make other sacrifices?
Well, this is just the tip of the iceberg. We saw it with the mammography issue a year or so ago. We saw it with the PSA issue. Who's going to be deciding what is able to be covered? The next issue could be anything at all. It could be any disease, any symptom complex. As a physician, I can tell you that the last thing that patients in this country want is the federal government stepping in and deciding what kind of health coverage and health care you and your family should have. And so it could be whether or not a cancer treatment is available to patients, whether or not you get admitted to the hospital with a certain diagnosis, whether or not something else is covered. That's the whole role of the Independent Payment Advisory Board, this 15-member bureaucratic board that is going to make pivotal decisions on whether or not doctors are going to be compensated or going to be paid for caring for seniors. It's just wrong, and that's why the American people are so up in arms about it and why the unpopularity of the bill continues to increase.
Let's talk about the budget now. Next week is going to be budget week. Do you expect any surprises when President Obama releases his budget?
Any surprise would be any decrease in the amount of deficit spending on behalf of this administration. This is going to be, by the President's own budgets, the fourth straight year of trillion-dollar deficits. Over $5 trillion in deficit spending, addition to the debt in this administration. I believe that it's likely that it will be more a political document than a budgetary document because the President is clearly in politics all the time and doing nothing but running for re-election.
Well, the House has taken some serious steps to try and improve the budgeting process. They've passed 4 of these 10 provisions that could help create more transparency, yes. Things like the line item veto. How frustrating is it for you guys in the House that everything seems to kind of stall out in the Senate?
Well, I call it the do-nothing Democrat Senate, and it gives the American people this peculiar sense about nothing going on in Washington because as a majority in the House of Representatives, our responsibility is to govern, is to get things done. As a minority in Washington, because we don't control the Senate and we don't have the White House, our job is to provide a contrast and accountability to the other side. But as you mentioned, the House has passed now over 40 pieces of legislation that's positive legislation to get the economy rolling, to get jobs back, to get spending down, to provide greater opportunity for the American people. And they sit on Harry Reid's desk and he says, why don't you give them to somebody who cares, because it's not me. And they just stall in the Senate. The fact of the matter is the American people understand and appreciate what's going on. This is a political problem. This is a political year, and the solution's in November.
There are a lot of people say that the economy does seem to be getting a little bit better, and as it's done so, the President's approval ratings have gone up a little bit, but Congress's approval ratings haven't really budged. Why do you think that is?
Well, it's because of that majority-minority schizophrenia. You don't sense that there's any cooperative spirit or action going on in Washington, in Congress, and I would suggest that's because the positive items that the House has passed sit and die in the United States Senate. So you don't sense that there's any cooperative movement. But the economy is improving, and thank goodness it is. But it's improving in spite of the administration, not because of the administration. The American people are resilient folks, and they're out there trying to make a go of it. But the amount of spending, the amount of regulation, the amount of red tape that's going on right now that is stifling and decreasing the ability of businesses, both large and small, to be able to create jobs in this country is hampered by this administration.
All right. Representative Tom Price, thanks for talking to us.
Thank you so much.